Spend a few minutes and talk about the different ways that you can decorate connections. Um, Previously, I've talked about, to some extent, about decorating elements. There are quite a few options for decorating connections. The first couple are pretty easy and pretty straightforward. If you select a connection, sometimes easier than others, you'll notice that the default name on that for that connection is connection between, and it's the two elements that it's a connection between. But if you change that to say whatever label you want on it, it then goes ahead and actually adds that label to the link, so you can label all the links or any of the links that you feel it's appropriate to label. And if you decide that you don't want it labeled, if you simply select it and delete it, it will then default back to the name of the two endpoints of the connection. Additionally, you can add arrows to it, so that currently it's undirected, but you could say that it's directed. Or you can reverse it so it's going in the other way, or you can say that there's an arrow on both ends of it. It depends upon what you want the map to depict, or the relation or the connection between elements. And then if you don't want it, you can simply turn it off. That comes in handy if you're doing causal loop diagrams, which is one of the things that they've specifically added features to enable you to do. So one of the additional options, if you select a connection, this says connection from D to B, there's another option down here that says delay. You can add a delay that simply indicates that there's a delay between the influence from D to B, and you can click it again to turn it off. Now notice that on these links there are little plus and minus signs. That happens because of a built-in set of conventions. These connections have been typed, so this particular connection, notice, has got a negative sign for a type, and this connection has a positive sign for a type. There are a set of options built in so that if you assign the value of plus, then it adds a plus to one end and minus. And you can read this, and I'll put a copy of this graphic in the connection decorations profile. But the idea is to simply provide a set of conventions to make it easy to use Kumu to develop causal loop diagrams. And this is an example. And if you look at this, though, you'll notice that down here in the legend there's a plus adds to and a minus subtracts from. The decoration was updated so that in addition to simply using the type, it also changed the width, and it changed the color, and it added a label so that it would show up down in the legend, and you can modify that. And if you look at the advanced form of the decoration in the CSS code, here is the adds to label, and it says the connection type is equal to plus. You want the color blue and the size of 3. The minus subtracts from the connection type is negative. Color is red, size of 3. But notice that this also has this additional focus setting down here, and I'll do a separate video on focus settings, though this was specifically done in this map so that I could use it to do storytelling. So if I refresh this model or this map, when it loads, the only thing that it shows me is B1, and the profile page about the map itself just gives me a little text and says, here's the entry point for this, which takes me to the description of this B1 loop. Though when I click on link to B2, it actually causes the B2 loop to be displayed, and show its profile page and its profile page, which is just one of those internal links. It says equals pound R3, which is a pointer to the label, the loop label for that third loop. So if I click on that, it displays the third loop. Now I said that the options for decorating connections are very extensive. If you look at the CSS property reference, and I put a link to this in the context page for the connection decorations profile. This gives you all of the various options for elements, connections, and loops, along with a short explanation of what those various and sundry options are for, so that you know that for connections you can specify the color and the curvature, delay the visibility, alter the visibility, define what the text formatting is. So there are, and the size and the scale and the strength, style. So there are a whole range of options which, to get comfortable with, you simply have to play around with them for a while, trying to go through each one of them and demonstrating them. We'd be here for a couple of days. But just suffice to say that the CSS property reference is well defined, which decorations you can use with connections are listed in the table with a short explanation over on the right about on the little I dot. So hopefully this gives you an initial set of thoughts about some of the things that you can do with connection decorations to help put the model in put the map in a form that helps it convey the information that you're trying to get across to the target audience. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.